Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is November 24th, 2020, and this is episode 135. We're going to take a look at Buffy the Vampire Slayer, issues 1 and 2 from Boom. The reason I'm doing this so late, it came out about 18 months ago, I want to say, a year and a half ago. That was a period of time where I was having a lot of eye operations, so I couldn't read that entire summer, and I got really behind on my comics. So I'm pulling this one out, bringing it back, just to take a look at it. I was very curious about it. If you recall, there is a Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie with Christy Swanson, I believe her name is, as the lead character in that, and also featured Luke Perry and Paul Rubens. Paul Rubens also played, as you remember, Pee Wee Herman. And some other stars in there. I think Rutger Hauer was in there as well, the late Rutger Hauer, who you might remember from Blade Runner. But anyway, I want to just take it. And then we had, of course, the Josh Whedon series that went on for many years, starring Sarah Michelle Gellar. And well, that's what we're kind of taking here. This is kind of using those characters, but it doesn't follow the story completely the same. The issue 1 is kind of a starting point, but Buffy has already made her transformation to Vampire Slayer. She's already met up with Giles, the librarian, who's sending her out on missions. Xander and Willow are in this first issue as well. So it's basically the four of them. And then a shop owner named Anya is the other person in here. Now, I just think so far, I've read 2 issues, I just think it's kind of okay. I'm not real happy about it. It's not real exciting. They're trying to put a new spin on it, but it comes off more as a young adult novel rather than what the series was about, which was just kind of a fun, exciting thing. So right off the bat, we've got Sarah Gellar, or what her character's name's Buffy, I'm sorry. And they're drawn to look pretty much like the regular characters. I mean, Willow looks pretty much like Willow. Xander looks pretty much like Xander. They get attacked by a vampire right outside of the Tunaverse. It's a fish sandwich place where Buffy works, which I don't think that occurred in the movie or the series at all. I don't think she was ever doing anything like that. So it starts out, and she's new to the school. She hasn't really made any friends yet. They've got this little running dialogue here, and it's kind of a little too emo at the beginning as well, that she's talking about, oh, I'm an outsider, I'm a loner, I don't have any friends. And you find that a lot with many of the characters in here. In the issue 2, Xander kind of goes off on his own rant on his on some of his blogs, I guess you could say. I'm not sure if he's publishing them or not at this point. But going back and forth, we've got, all of a sudden it starts raining. It looks like it's clear sky, but it starts raining as she walks back into her place of business after disposing of the vampire. Now, Xander and Willow seem hardly shocked or anything. I mean, they're kind of reacting like someone drove by and threw a orange at them. Not like this creepy vampire thing came out and grabbed them, as you can see here, with fangs and teeth and everything. But yeah, they're acting pretty calm, so I thought that was a little odd. I think they would be a little bit more put off by it, but they're trying to figure out what Buffy is. They don't really know her. And we get our main thing here, which we can go ahead and say. This series was created, I should say, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, was created by Josh Whedon. It's written by Jordi Belair, and I really couldn't find anything on her. I looked a little bit. It looked like she worked on some Batman comics, and they got her listed as a colorist, but not as a writer. So I'm not sure what that was all about. Illustrator is Dan Mora, and he does a good job. He does a capable job in this. And then you see we had all these different covers here from all these different people. So we've got quite the production for this. This was a Boom Studios, and then they have a little thing here. I believe they said this at the beginning of the TV show during the credits about Buffy here. So Willow and Xander go to school the next day, and they discover that Michelle, I keep calling her, I want to call her Michelle, Buffy is at her school too, and like, wow. And so they run in after her as she's gone into the library where she's talking with Giles, and they're trying to just kind of not act like anything's going on. But of course, Xander and Willow know something's up. We move along, and it's late at night. She's studying. It looks like she's sleeping. This was a little confusing because it looks like she's sleeping, maybe dreaming at the bottom of some stairs or something, but then all of a sudden she's at a gravesite. Maybe that's a gravestone pedestal there that we're looking at. So she's actually, I guess she's on a patrol, but she's sleeping, and she gets attacked by a vampire. But she's unable to kill this vampire because he's got a special artifact medallion on. She actually stabs him, but nothing happens. So she realizes she has to chop his head off to kill him. But he runs off, goes back to the shop where he purchased this. This is where Anya comes in and demands that she give him all the other pieces he's got, because he wants to give those to the clan, because he's realized he's invincible now. And she gives him a drink. Just for whatever reason, he accepts it, and of course it melts him, which is, I think that was a pretty cool thing, actually. So they're trying to figure out what this medallion is that Buffy saw on the vampire, and then Xander and Willow have achieved making friends with Buffy here. And they kind of talk to her about it and everything, and they believe her that she's actually a vampire slayer. So, I mean, it kind of moves very quickly, but it's, like I said, this isn't Shakespeare. And so we go back to Anya. She's watching a video, and as you can see, she's actually looks like she's watching Firefly, which is another Joss Whedon production. So there's a little Easter egg there. And she gets approached by some witch, Drusilla, I believe her name is. And that's where this first one ends. So, all in all, I mean, it's okay. I'm not enjoying it that much, but I do have 4 more issues of it to go through. So I'll go through and see if anything changes. In issue 2, we get the introduction of Spike and also Cordelia. And Cordelia is written totally different in here. If you remember from the TV show, she's beautiful, voluptuous, but a snob, very arrogant, and kind of out for herself, basically. Thinks she's better than everybody else. Here, she's like a goody two-shoes. She's beautiful still, but she just likes everybody and has no problems with anybody. And she's kind of naive in that way. And that's basically what we see here as we get introduced to her right off. And it does look kind of like Cordelia a little bit from the show. They're still trying to track down those artifacts, what that vampire was wearing. So they talk to Cordelia. She makes friends with Buffy, gives her a badge. She's running for president against Willow, of course. And now we've gotten introduced to Willow as being gay right off the bat, which I don't think happened in the TV show that quickly. I think it was several seasons in where she was, or bi, I guess, lesbian. But here she's got a friend here, which makes Xander very emo. Because if you recall in the TV show, I believe Xander was first in love with Willow, and then Buffy came along and he kind of had a crush on her, and then Cordelia was there and he always kind of had a crush on her, but she wouldn't give him the time of day until very late, or several seasons in. So you can see Xander's getting very emo, jealous, because he is the odd man out. We find out that that Buffy is also very athletic here, which we knew already if you've watched the shows, but this is her point to shine. The coach times her. She runs 3 miles in the same time it takes everybody else to do a mile. Not everybody, but some of the people could only do a mile in that time. And they've got Xander in the background, kind of like all pooped out, still running. And she meets this guy named Robin, who's got a broken arm. They don't go into it too much, but I guess this is supposed to be some kind of romance brewing. That's what I'm guessing. He's kind of out of action because he does have the cast on the arm, and she signs his cast. And Cordelia's leaving the school with her vote for president balloons, and she loses them. They're pulled away, and she's drawn into the forest that's nearby. And that's where we meet Spike. And she's very trusting. She's like, okay, hello, everything, and gotta go. Do you want a ride? She even offers him a ride and everything, but he can't believe how naive she is and willing to trust. And she disappears. We go back to the shop now, and Drusilla's got Enya wrapped up, and she's torturing her by dropping her things that she has discovered and found and collected over the years, and just breaking things. Unfortunately for Drusilla, she picks the wrong urn and unleashes a vampire killer. Then we end up with Xander trying to text people to see if they want to do everything. Of course, everybody's busy, and he has a bad day too, and you can see he's the sad sack. So Xander was never like that in the TV show. He was kind of dumb, but kind of upbeat most of the time. Yeah, and he would get his feelings hurt on a time, but he seemed like he was always kind of a positive guy. But they got him as the sad sack weakling here, whereas Cordelia has kind of taken his good natureship and run with it. So there's no snobs in here that I can tell right now. There's no no arrogant people. It's pretty much just kind of an adult teen, young adult type story for this point. Like I said, it's only an okay for me. I can't really recommend it. It's not bad, but it's not good. It's not great. So purchase at your own caution. All right. So anyway, thank you for stopping by and listening to this review. I will be doing 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 the same way upcoming. I've got a lot of comics to review. I just went to the store, bought I think a record number this week. There was a record number of releases according to my store owner, who has been in business for about 5 years now. So I ended up purchasing a lot of stuff. So I'm looking to go ahead and review some of that stuff as quick as possible. So thanks for stopping by once again. Please like, please subscribe, please leave comments, and we'll see you again soon, I'm hoping, because this is Indie Comics Jones coming to you from the Temple of Tomes. As always, I bid you adieu.